Mortal Kombat's Johnny Cage, Team Fortress's Demo Man, and Tracer from Overwatch star in the 2017 third-person shooter from Deep Silver Volition, the makers of Saints Row, Agents of Mayhem. Before we begin, I feel the need to explain my methods for rating games because I'm about to give Agents of Mayhem a 9 out of 10. I'm sure many people are thinking that if Agents of Mayhem can be a 9 out of 10, then Minecraft must be an 11 out of 10, and Among Us is then a 15 out of 10. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. The fact is, I'm playing a lot of games in a lot of genres, and it is not fair to compare them all against each other. It would only make sense to compare Divinity Original Sin to Bad Rats if everyone else had the exact same library that I do. I'm instead comparing each game to my expectations of that game individually. A 10 out of 10 game isn't the greatest game ever made. It is a game that has lived up to the full potential of what it tried to be and exceeded it. Absolver wasn't compared to Abyss Odyssey, it was compared to what I expected a $30 action fighting game to be. With that in mind, I digress. Agents of Mayhem is a third-person action shooter for $29.99 on the Steam store. The game took me 10 hours and 40 minutes to beat the campaign, and there were quite a few epilogue missions I didn't get into. For an 11-hour experience, I found this game to be extremely enjoyable. I don't have stream footage to share for this game because my CPU could not stream and run the game at the same time. I have an Intel Core i5 4690K, and the game ran well on my computer, I just couldn't stream at the same time. Instead, to accompany this review, I am showing footage from the cinematic cutscenes in the game. This is your official spoiler alert. Agents of Mayhem tells the story of a team of superheroes named Mayhem fighting back against a legion of bad guys named Legion. It is a very ordinary story arc that is presented in an extraordinary way. To start, the story is told in these beautifully crafted animations. While this is technically a video game, it treads into the territory of being an interactive cartoon. The game flips almost seamlessly between cinematics and gameplay as they feed into one another, breaking only to let the player choose what direction to go in next. The characters in the game are diverse and interesting. On every mission, the player chooses 3 agents from those that they have unlocked to participate in the mission. Each character has their own dialogue when interacting with the story, so it doesn't feel like the freedom to choose your agent interferes with the immersion. In fact, it enhances it. Starting the game, the player has Hollywood, the aspiring actor, Hardtack, Chief Petty Officer from the US Navy, and Fortune, the Sky Pirate. By the end of the game, I was playing with Daisy, the Derby Girl, Braddock, the former US Marine Corps drill instructor, and Redcard, the soccer hooligan. All of the characters were interesting in their own right, so I picked my team based off of the weapons and skills they provided. Daisy offered sustained damage and armor piercing with her minigun, Braddock has high damage and bonus damage to bosses, and Redcard has a shotgun semi-auto rifle combo for close or far-range combats. And then there's the bad guys. The game starts facing off against Hammersmith, prototypical evil weapons maker, and you're thinking, yeah, Legion is generic evil, I get it. Then there's Augustus Gaunt, boy genius and pretty boy pop star, and you think, okay, now I'm fighting Justin Bieber? And suddenly Bieber's artificially intelligent K-pop stars named Aisha are suffering infighting due to their personification of emotions, and they are mad because you killed their fiancé on their wedding night, and suddenly there are explosions everywhere, and you say, wow, this is really cool. Ultimately, that's what Agents of Mayhem really is. It's really cool. The gameplay is limited. There's driving, then shooting, then quick-time event hacking, wash, rinse, repeat. But every time you drive, every time you shoot, and every time you hack, it feels different because the characters are weaving it into the story. Driving section, you've actually stolen Gaunt's car and it's going to explode. Shooting? No, this is Daisy's flashback to when she was blackout drunk and competed it in a robot-killing tournament. The truth is, most games boil down to a few core mechanics, and it is the game's ability to push, squeeze, and manipulate the mechanics to continue being enjoyable that it should be judged upon. Agents of Mayhem does this with its clever, funny storytelling and charm. Third-person shooters are not my favorite genre. I've said before that I'm a sucker for creative storytelling indie games, but I came into this third-person shooter experience and was blown away. 9 out of 10.
It's all I've ever known.
Aisha had it all. Fame, talent, beauty. But their accomplishments were followed by tragedy.
Buckley was the first man I'd ever met. That wasn't August Scott.
Their love, however, was short-lived. The monstrous force known as Mayhem murdered their poor husband on their wedding night.
All we wanted was to merge into a super being. But no! Mayhem just wouldn't let us be happy.
But Aisha did not get discouraged. Together, they were determined to rise above any obstacle.
When the world sees what we've been working on, I think they'll really feel our pain.